Alright, this is a review of the Goon, Chinatown, and the Mystery of Mr.Wicker. This is a kind of fill-in arc, because in the first volume of the Goon, they mention Frankie and the Goon were fighting a couple of zombies, and Frankie is like, well, this adventure was pretty messed up, but it wasn't as bad as Chinatown. And the Goon's like, don't ever mention Chinatown, Frankie. And they mentioned it a couple other times in a couple of other volumes. They're like, Chinatown was the worst. I think Chinatown was the worst time we've ever had. And this came out in 2007, and unlike the other Goon books, the interior art is it's much more detailed and it's colored. Normally Eric Powell does the covers very detailed, and the interior art is basically just black and white. But this one is a very detailed as far as the art goes. The art is always beautiful. I love Eric Powell's art. So there's two stories with this. There's a Chinatown story, and there's the Mr. Wicker story. These stories are going kind of parallel to each other, so it's not hard to keep up with. It goes by very fast, or maybe it's just because I read fast. I don't know. People tell me I read fast, but I don't know. It went kind of fast for me. So the story with Chinatown is that there's a Japanese or a Chinese mobster who basically is a dragon in disguise. He can transform into a dragon. And the story with Mr. Wicker is that there's a couple of guys who are coming to town and trying to take over the Goon in Frankie's territory, a Labrizzo's territory, who is Frankie and the Goon's boss. But we never get to really see him. They always kind of keep his identity a mystery. The Chinatown story ends at a much better note than the Mr. Wicker story. I don't want to give too much away like I usually do, but the stories basically deal with the Goon trying to find. I think it basically says that the Goon and the Frankie are trying to find happiness, and they really can't because the lifestyle they live. They're mobsters. They're mobsters, and they live in a very cruel town, and they have to be this way. Frankie and the Goon is almost, the Goon finds love, and Frankie's like, hey, what about me? You're just gonna leave town without me? And the Goon's like, look, I have my chance to be happy, and I'm gonna take it. And Frankie's just like, you know what? Frankie does this a lot. He says something, but then he's like, you know what? You're kind of right. No one deserves this type of life. You should get out of here while you can. And he goes into a very mopey and sappy state. But it turns out that the woman that the Goon was in love with, she's like, you know what? I can't be with you. And she kind of leaves him. And the Goon, there's this very beautiful page. It's a 4-page of showing the Goon's facial expressions of him crying, which we really don't get to see in the regular Goon books. It's a very beautiful 4-page showing his facial expressions. And after that, the Goon comes back to town, and there's always these guys that are hanging around, and they're like, hey, how you doing, Goon? What's up? And the Goon's basically, he just got told off that, the woman he loved doesn't want him. And he beats the crap out of the guy, and he kills one of the guys. I'm like, wow. Hits him over the head really hard. He's like, don't ever come back to this part of town. This is my part of town, and this is my territory. And he tells the other guy to just get off. Just leave. And the whole town's like, oh my god, the Goon has killed so and so. And I don't know, that I kind of felt for the Goon. I'm not saying what he did was right, but I kind of felt for him because I kind of have had bad situations like that. I didn't beat anyone up, but it's just I've wanted to do that. He was very annoyed, and he warned the guys earlier. He said, "Don't come back to this territory. This is mine. You can't sell your stuff here." And they kept coming back, and they just caught him on a bad day. Because before that, he didn't really care when he was with a woman. He was just like, whatever, just do what you want. I don't care. But now, he's just kind of like, whatever. And at the end, we get this very sad page of the Goon and Frankie. And the Goon's holding up a picture of the woman he was in love with and his caretaker. Because when he was a kid, he went to the store and he stole a gun. Because the gun was like, I think it was 25 cents. And he only had 2 cents. So he stole the gun and he went home. And I think his foster mom was like, well, you taking this back, She's like, your mom and your dad may be good for nothing, but I'm not going to let you go down that path. And he kind of recalls that again as he's looking at the picture. And him and the Goon, and him and Frankie are just sitting there with this very, very sad look on their face, like like would never be happy type of look. And it's very sad ending. I really don't want to give the ending away for both of the stories, but if you get a chance, pick it up. I picked up the hardback because I'm a fan of the Goon. It was $20 for me, $19.99, so I picked it up. But the regular one, the paperback, it's probably, I want to say $14.99, but it might be more. But if you're interested in the Goon, and if you never really read the Goon, this is probably a good place to start. Even though it's a fill-in arc, you really get a lot about the characters. You can kind of get the gist of what the story is about. So I give the story a 10 out of 10. Love it. If your store doesn't have it, just have because my comic book shop didn't have it. I had the guy order it for me. So if they don't have it, just ask them if you can order it. If they can order it for you, and it should be in. And check it out. It's a very good read. You won't regret it.